All right, today we're going to look at powers and exponents, which is a lot of the stuff that we'll talk about through chapter 4, how to do. Today is just positive exponents, tomorrow we'll talk about negative, and then we'll kind of move through how to use those to solve expressions, okay? All right, so first thing we're going to do is just write an expression using exponents, which I believe you all have seen before, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, right? We did some of that last year.
Probably.
Okay, so if you have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, and they want you to write that using expression stone, what would you write?
4 to the 5th power.
Very good. Okay. All right. Now, can you tell me what the number 4 is called? The big number is called the what?
It's a whole number.
Whole number.
Well, it is a whole number, but like when you're dealing with exponents, it has a special name.
X. Base.
Okay.
Base number.
Obviously, the small number would be your exponent or your power. Okay. You need to know that because when you see that word base, that's talking about the big number that's being multiplied by itself. The small number, the exponent, just tells you how many times you're multiplying it. Okay? All right, what if you have negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2? Okay, chill.
Negative 2 to the third power?
Okay, do you need parentheses around negative 2?
No. Yes.
Yes, you do. Anytime you have a negative, you should always put it in parentheses. The reason why, which I'll show you in just a second, is when we start using our calculator to solve some of these, if you don't put it in parentheses, it's not going to give you the correct answer. Okay?
And the exponent stays outside of the parentheses?
Yes, exponent will go outside of the parentheses. Okay? All right, let's look at same idea here. If I have 1/2 times itself, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 4 times. So, same idea with a fraction. Should I put a fraction inside of parentheses?
Yes.
Yes. So it would be 1/2 to what power?
Fourth.
The 4th power. Okay?
Can you put it as decimal?
What if it
No.
put the second
If it
power?
starts as a fraction, you're going to leave it as a fraction. Okay? And we'll talk about that when we solve in just a second. But for right now, you're just writing it out. Whatever is repeating, you write it with an exponent. Okay, what was your question?
Me?
Did you have a question? Okay. All right. What if you have xy times xy times xy?
X, Y to the third power.
Parentheses or no parentheses?
No.
X, Y.
Okay. So if I just write it like this, that's the correct answer.
Yes. C. Wrong.
Does it look like both variables are being cubed there?
C.
No, it just looks like Y.
How can I make it so both are being cubed?
You have to put a 3 in between X and Y.
Nope.
Parentheses.
Put it in parentheses.
Parentheses.
Right?
Looks like.
Okay. Listen, here's the deal. When in doubt, just put it inside parentheses because it's going to save you from making those mistakes. Okay? All right. Last thing could look like this. 3 times 5 times A times A times B times B. Okay. Can anybody tell me what this one would be? Nate?
3 times 5 times A to the second power times B to the second power.
You're close. Cage?
Do you want me to look? Oh.
Okay, AB to the second power.
No, that's not what you missed. There we go. Yeah.
You should say that.
No, you weren't done.
Hey,
So that's
That's
the
the
answer.
first time. yeah, because it's just asking you to just simplify it using exponents. Okay. So any numbers that you can multiply together on those, that you will. Okay. Only because, like, notice 3 and 5 are not the same. If it was 3 times 3, you would write 3 squared, A squared, B squared, right?
So on if
Words.
we, so just on like this lesson or when it asks for exponents, we would just like what it is like the same number multiplied it. So
Yes, I think.
but like for normal lessons we would just like answer.
Well, you'll know because, like, these first problems are just ask you to write using exponents. On the other ones, it'll tell you to evaluate, and that's when you'll actually solve. So we'll do some of that in a second. Okay. All right. This part you need to know. Any number, any number except for 0 if it is raised to the 0 power, does anyone know what your answer would be?
0 pound.
No.
You wouldn't have an exponent.
Defined by the number 1. Okay? So any number except for 0 that's raised to the 0 power is going to give you 1, right? So it doesn't matter if you have 10 to the 0 power, that's equal to 1, right? 5 to the 0 power, also equal to 1, right? 387 to the 0 power, all are equal to 1. Anything raised to the 0 power is equal to 1, okay?
How do you get 0 power? Looks like 10.
It will tell you if it's, you're not really, we're not there yet, but like if you're evaluating and it tells you to evaluate something to the 0 power, you just need to know it's 1.
If it was a negative number, would it be negative 1?
No, we'll talk about that tomorrow. It doesn't matter, no, I see what you're saying. Like if it's negative 1 to the 0 power,
Like, if it was like negative 5 to the 0 power.
still 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1, except for 0, okay? All right, here we go. Let's look at evaluating. We're going to evaluate these next few problems. If x is equal to negative 2, y is equal to positive 3, and then z is equal to 2.5.
We have to write all that.
That'd be good. Okay. All right, Gunnar, tell me on the first one, if I have y to the 4th power using a math term, what's the first thing you would do?
Substitute.
Substitute. What would I substitute for y?
3.
Okay. So I get 3 to the 4th power. Now, you need to know how to do this in your calculator. Okay, so everybody take your calculator out. Okay, so you always type your base number first. What's the base number here? 3. So you're going to type that into your calculator, okay? Over on the left-hand side, see the button right next to 7 that says x squared?
Yes.
Don't push it. That's if you're going to square something, okay? But we're not squaring it. We're raising it to the 4th power. Everybody see the button right above?
Yeah.
Looks like an arrow. It's called a caret. So you're going to push that button. That allows you to raise it to whatever exponent you need. So you push the arrow to the 4th power, so then hit the number 4. You should get 81.
27.
I'm not after.
81.
I thought you were.
Can't you just do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3?
You can, but what if you have it to the 19th power?
3 times 3 times 3.
It makes no sense, right? Okay, hey, y'all stay with me. Listen, some of us are getting off track. Did anyone not get 81 as their answer? Okay. Gauge.
What? I got it.
Okay. All right, because we got to know how to type it into our calculator if we're going to be able to solve these next ones. Okay. All right, let's do number 2. Let's do 7x squared. Now, before we do this, what do you know about 7 and x squared? What are you doing with those two numbers?
Multiply.
Multiplying. Will you multiply before you square x?
C.
No.
Why, Gage?
Because on that like order thingy paper that we did.
Order of operations says to do what
Yeah.
first? Exponents.
parentheses.
Yes. Okay. All right, what am I plugging in for x?
21. Negative 2. Negative 2.
Okay. So if I square negative 2 first, right, you really shouldn't need your calculator for that. What's negative 2 times negative 2?
Quattro. Negative
4.
Negative 4.
Positive 4.
It's
Thank you,
negative
Gage.
4.
Why is it positive 4?
Because
Because
it's
a
an
positive plus negative, times a negative is positive.
Signs are the same. Your answer is positive. Yes.
X.
Okay. 7 times 4 is equal to
28.
21.
Well, I said the second and 2 is greater than 1 because it's multiplying it by itself.
Okay. Okay, chill.
Negative 2 times negative 2.
Okay, so since it's a negative 2, the exponent.
Paige, I'm sorry I'm having a hard time hearing you because people are being rude and talking over you.
So since it's a negative number, is the exponent negative?
No.
Then
The number is negative. You're multiplying negative 2 times negative 2. We're talking about negative exponents we're talking about tomorrow. Okay? Yes? Now, hey, listen, I want you all to see this. If you, in your calculator, if you just hit negative 2 and square it without negative 2 in parentheses, what does it give you as an answer?
I don't know.
Type it in.
Syntax error.
No?
Negative 4.
Just type, hey, if you all will stop talking while I'm still trying to record this lesson, which everyone is going to hear me have to get onto you, okay, and listen, type in -2 into your calculator and square it. That means to the second power. Why do you get -4?
Because
Because the calculator's wrong.
No, the calculator's never wrong.
Because you didn't put it in parentheses.
Because you didn't put it in parentheses. It thinks you're telling it to do a -1 times 2 squared. Anytime you have a negative number, you have to put it in parentheses, okay? So go put it in parentheses and square it and see what happens. You get +4, right? So that tells you every time, which we talked about earlier, if you have negatives, if you have fractions, put them in parentheses, okay? All right, here we go. Let's do 0 or z to the 0 power plus x.
I still got -3.
You didn't put it correct. You have
I put parentheses over
Did you
it.
put the last parentheses on?
you have to put it inside of parentheses.
Parenthesis
I
inside.
did put it, Lucas showed me, I understand what I did wrong.
Okay, Bailey, tell me what I get when I substitute for z and x here. Yep.
You put in -2, 1,
What am I plugging in for z?
2.5.
So 2.5 to the 0 power plus what? Okay. Anything to the 0 power is what number? 1. So I have 1 plus -2. What is 1 plus -2?
-1.
-1.
Roasted.
Yes.
Why did I choose to do this now? All right, let's do 11 to the 3rd power. Okay, again, all I want you to do right now is type this into your calculator. 11, use your caret or that arrow to the 3rd power. Gunner, what'd you get?
1331. Or 1331.
Good job.
1331.
Okay, on this one, we're going to write it out and solve first before we check it in our calculator. Okay, so write this out. -1/2 cubed means to do what? Hey, I shouldn't see people typing this in their calculator because I just said we're going to write it out and solve first. What does that mean when we're cubing it, Cage? What does that mean we're going to do if I have -1/2 cubed?
You're gonna put 2 over it. That's it.
Oh. Reno,
You -1/2 times -1/2.
Thank you.
Oh,
okay, Reno, what's 1 times 1 times 1?
It's 1.
Okay, what's 2 times 2?
It's 4.
4 times 2?
8.
Negative or positive, Reno?
Positive.
Why?
Oh, it's negative.
Why?
Because they're all negative.
there's
There's
an
an
odd
odd
That's not the
number.
reason.
There's an odd number.
There's an odd number, right? Remember we talked about this last week. Okay, now listen to me. Everyone in here knows how to type a fraction in their calculator.
Sure.
Okay, put it inside parentheses. So in parentheses, you're going to put -1/2 into your parentheses, cube it. Check it in your calculator. Everybody go. I should see everyone checking. You should get -1/8 as your answer. If you don't, you need to tell me so I can come check what you typed in.
How do you put it in syntax error?
It's right below the 3.
Syntax error. Syntax 1/8. Syntax error.
Remember, use your fraction button. Don't use a division sign.
I got it. Same.
Me too.
Wow.
-1. I didn't know if I typed it in or not.
Okay, is everybody okay on that? Because we're about to do this last one. Reno. Okay, somebody tell me, before you even type this into your calculator, will you get a negative answer or a positive answer? Why will it be positive? Because it's an even amount, okay? All right, check it in your calculator. Parentheses, -3/4, raised to the 4th power. Say it again, Si.
81,256.
Good. Okay, if I need to come check it, I will in just 1 second. Okay?
81.
All right, here's your assignment.
Oh,
No way.
quadratics.
Si, what's that last problem say? 80 what?
What?
On the board?
82.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, is there a can?
I think that should be it.